It doesn't actually look like I have one that's saved. So in any case, I will. All right. The next skill I'd like you to learn is item creation for non-cannabis items. To do this, we'll have to go into our settings and then our inventory. So we'll start by clicking on the slider icon and then inventory. From here, we'll want to create a new item. And we'll want to add our non-cannabis item. For this, I like to start with supply. This way, all of your non-cannabis items, if you were to view an entire list of your inventory, would appear at the bottom of your list and not scattered throughout your inventory. It makes for cleaner reporting and making it easier just to select from a list if you were just to type supply and not having to know what the actual supply is. So for this, we can start with packaging, and we can add supply, and we can just call this, we can just say that this is either in a pouch or in a jar. For this, I'll just go ahead and put this as a pouch. You can even be more specific. If you wanted to follow the same naming conventions, you can identify the brand abbreviation, you can provide the description, and then you can specify what size or dimension it might be, or maybe even the product that it should be tied to, like an eighth. But since, let's just say that we have one standard pouch and they're for eighths, so we can just say eighth pouch. Since this is a supply, we're selecting the supplies category, or the supplies type. The class is general, and the category would be packaging. And then we'll want to track the unit of measurement as eaches. When you're done, you'll select save, and the item is created. Now let's do this one more time, and let's just add some labels. So I'm going to go back to my list, and here's a neat trick. If I type supply in and I locate that item, I can actually clone this item by clicking the clone link. What it does is it copies all of these attributes like the type, the class, the category, and the unit of measurement. And if you had anything else that was in there, it would copy over as well. The only thing that's not cloned is the item name and the SKU. So I'm just going to go ahead and type supply, and let's just say these are eighth labels. Once everything looks correct, then you can hit save. And now we're ready to bring in these items into our inventory. To do this, we'll head back into Flourish, and then we'll click in our inbound, and we're going to create a brand new purchase order. But before we do that, we have to configure and identify who the vendor is that we're purchasing from. So to configure the vendors, we'll go back into our settings, and then we'll select distribution and then vendors. And here's where you would set up a vendor that you would purchase these supplies from. For this example, we'll use Flourish Software. I'll save, and then I'll head back into Flourish. I'll go into my inbound. I'll create a purchase order, and then I'll select Flourish as a vendor, and then create purchase order. Now I'll want to add in the items that I'm bringing into inventory or that I've ordered, and I'll type supply. I'll select the labels. I'll do the same for my pouch. And let's just say I have 1,000 that I've ordered. And you can either put in the total line cost or the unit cost. But let's just create the purchase order for right now. And then we'll just hit done editing. And let's say you physically receive that package. You'll go into Flourish. You'll find the purchase order from the purchase order screen. And then you'll click on it and open it, and then we'll edit it. We'll click on the receive button, and we'll add a new line item. We can enter in a lot number, and that's optional. All right, now it's time to put everything together. I'd like to demo your workflow from beginning to end. So the first thing that we'll do is, let's say that we are doing our intake and we receive a package in the warehouse. What we'll first want to do is we'll want to log into our metric, and we will locate the manifest transfer. We will physically inspect the package that we received, and we'll verify the quantity that we've received against the quantity that's specified in metric. If that looks okay, we're going to accept that metric transfer. We'll head back into Flourish. We'll go into our inbound. And in our transfer screen here, we'll want to sync transfers. Once that transfer is synced, that package should automatically appear in our inventory. Before we move on to the next step, we'll want to complete one final step, which is in our purchase orders. And in our purchase orders, we will select the auto-generated purchase order that Flourish creates. We'll want to open it, and we'll want to edit. Here, we can indicate whether or not there was a cost that we're tracking on it. To add that cost, you can either do a total line cost here, or by clicking View and then editing this line item here, we can add in the unit cost. What's also important is that we make sure that we add in our lot number, and depending on policy and our SOPs, we'll use that standard lot naming convention and indicate it in this field. So for this, just for an example, we'll just say the unit cost per gram. We'll just say that it's 98 cents. And the lot number, we'll just say we'll use an abbreviation of the source, and then we can put a date in here. Okay. And then we can abbreviate what the strain was. We'll put that in here. We'll hit done. Now this should save the information. We'll close this out, and as you can see here, it updates the purchase order. Once you're done, you click on Done Editing, and if you wanted to verify that the item is in our inventory, we'll head back into our inventory, which will pop up the All Packages screen. I'll simply search for that item. If the item does need to be tested, all you'll have to do is create a lab sample. So for this, I'm just going to unlock this package really quick, and then I'll go back into the Actions menu and create my lab sample. I'll indicate the quantity of the lab sample that I'm submitting with the lab technician, and then I am indicating the source package, which automatically populates when you select the item in the previous screen. We'll click on Use Required Quantity after putting in the quantity of the new package. It should balance it out here. We select our metric tag, review and confirm, time and date stamp it here, and then create our new package. We are now going to take care of the bulk flour and make sure that we prevent anyone from accidentally adding it to an order or selling it. To do this, we'll locate the source package. So you can just actually go into the sample package, click on the Actions menu, and then we'll click on See History. We'll toggle over into the Ancestry view, where then you can reference the origin column, which will tell you what the source package was. So I'm going to go back into my inventory, and I'll do a search, and here you will find, by clicking this, we identify the source package. Again, all we'll have to do is update the location of the package